The cosmic illusion. Hello, this is Chris speaking, Shores of Infinity, with another video about the Life Divine by Sri Aurobindo. This time book 2, chapter 5, the cosmic illusion. Or how I sometimes call it, the comical illusion. But seriously, the name of the chapter is The Cosmic Illusion, Mind, Dream and Hallucination. So is what we experience an illusion, a dream? In Advaita and Buddhism and many other traditions, it is one of the highest realizations that you can have, that everything is Maya, Lila. Everything is an illusion, a cosmic dream. Yeah, dream is a good word. Actually, there is the idea that the divine is dreaming the world and we are just all non-player characters. Because of our mind. Our mind is a tool, in Sri Aurobindo's words, is a tool of negation and affirmation. That's what we experience as thinking is a constant back and forth between affirmation and negation. So it's difficult for us to arrive at a truth, at a existence, at a reality, at a cosmos, because our mind can prove and disprove everything, which means nothing. If you can prove and disprove everything, then it means we can prove nothing. Things can seem plausible to us or even probable, but we can never be 100% sure. The same in spirituality, unfortunately. So many people make the mistake that they then deny matter and say, okay, everything is an illusion and everything is just about enlightenment. And then they go into the opposite. They were materialists and now they're idealists, but they do it with the same fervor, with the same zeal, the same concentration of just one aspect. And then we are caught again in the affirmation and negation game. So, as Osho has put it, how do we get out of it? Indeed, how do we get out of it? Or can we get out of it? Can we leave this illusion? That there is an illusion, it's hard to deny. But can we leave it? Is there a state of consciousness beyond this illusion, beyond Maya? Can we get beyond Maya? Is it possible for us to see the truth or connect to the truth, to something that we can call reality? Reality, by the way, is the next chapter. This chapter is about illusion. So what do we do with it? So first of all, we see that everything is actually a belief. There can be no knowledge or certitude. It's all a settled belief or a new belief. So we exchange one belief for another. Even what we call science, they're just beliefs because they're based on something that you cannot prove. So it is a belief. So everything that follows from that, even if it looks like certitude, is also a belief because it's based upon assumptions, which we call axioms. If you ask yourself, or if you ask anyone the question, is it possible that you live in an illusion like the Matrix? Everyone has to concede, yes, it is possible. It may not be likely, or I may not like the answer, but it is possible. And if it is possible, then everything is illusion. Then the illusion will be made in a way that we cannot see that it is an illusion. And why would it be? Why would aliens or machines or so make an illusion for our minds? That's actually really hard to grasp, but Maya can. Maya is part of the divine, and if everything, all of creation, is an illusion in a way, then of course it makes sense. But what then is the aim of life, or the meaning of life, the purpose? If everything is an illusion, okay, then what is this all for? If everything is incomplete and questionable, and nothing has enduring value, then what are we doing here? Plus, our mind perceives everything as facts. So for our mind, it's theoretically possible to take into consideration that everything is an illusion, but in a day-to-day business, there's no value in assuming that. Illusion does not mean mirage. Illusion does not mean if you run against the wall, you will go through the wall. No, you will run against the wall and break your nose. So the illusion is so well made that it is hard fact. In day-to-day experience, we cannot distinguish between fact and illusion, because the illusion is perfect. Which also means that you still have to eat. You cannot say, well, everything is illusion, I don't have to eat. And then you will starve. So there's rules in this illusion that you cannot ignore. And thus we have invented science and sciences trying to correct the errors, trying to establish as much certitude and value as possible, trying to verify stuff. But the problem is, of course, that we rely upon the mind. In our modern industrial technological societies, we have come to rely upon the mind, which is, of course, part of Maya, and thus it's not something to rely upon. But we also have an inbuilt quirk that we always search for novelty. We always search for the new, for the next thrill, which is an advantage. It can be a distraction, but on the spiritual path it is an advantage, because we're never satisfied with one answer. We're always looking for the next, for the better answer. So there's another game we play. We're not only affirming or negating the external world, we also do the same with the internal world. It's a play between self-aggrandizement and self-depreciation, self-deprecation. To assign a lot of value to me, or a very low value or no value to me. And this is also can be a distraction. This is what most psychological diseases are made up of, but it is also a boon, because it gives us the power not to take ourselves too seriously. It makes us a bit restless, but again, this can be a distraction or it can be the solution, because we need this feeling of restlessness, of doing the next step, of doing the impossible, trying out the impossible to get beyond Maya. There is a way beyond Maya, which Sri Aurobindo calls the supramental. It's almost impossible to get there, but we'll try anyway. At some point, after trying for years or decades, you will experience and you will know that all aims are in the end transitory and futile, all achievements unsatisfying or evanescent, as Sri Aurobindo puts it. And we put so much labor and effort in it, but there's only failure. Everything seems futile. We're going in a circle. Or, as I have described and mentioned in many other videos, the spiritual journey is kind of an up and down thing. On the one hand, it's a spiral thing. It seems like a circle, but it's actually a spiral. That's why spiral dynamics is such a good model. But also it's an up and down. It's not always up, 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 up. Yeah, there are setbacks. So on the one hand, we're caught in ignorance and imperfection and frustration and suffering. On the other hand, we do sometimes have glimpses of something that looks like the truth or higher truth. And this goads us on. We want this all of the time, not only sometimes. As we have found out in the previous chapters, there is one reality. It's transcendent, but it is there. It's a supra-cosmic one. That's why the cosmic illusion. No? On one hand, it's an illusion. On the other hand, there's some reality to it because there is something which we can call the everything, the infinite, the divine, and so on. For sure, there's something going on. Something exists. It may not be exactly how we experience or see it, but something does exist. And that's again and again and again our entry point. So of course this could be a trap. As many Advaita, Neo-Advaita teachers point out, if you assume that there is a higher purpose, a higher meaning, a higher being, a higher consciousness, which you can connect to, then you're always busy with looking for this, instead of just realizing that everything is an illusion and nothing is going on. So it could be a trap. But it is also possible to connect to something inside. We have something divine or of the supra-cosmic thingy in us. We call the soul, or Sri Aurobindo calls the psychic being. And if we connect to that, then there's the possibility of seeing beyond the veil of illusion or the veils of ignorance. One viewpoint the Vedas have tried out is to turn this whole thing of awake and dreaming around. So our waking state is actually a dreaming, a sleeping state. There's a video about that too on this channel, The Art of Dreaming Part 1, Castaneda, the Vedas and Real Spirituality, where I go into detail. And even more so, the second video, The Art of Dreaming Part 2, the Vedas, Taijasa, Vishwa, Prajna and Prajanagana. Link is below, and by the way, this is a good opportunity to like and subscribe. Thank you. So the gist of it is that everything is a form of dreaming, of dream reality. There's a deeper and deeper dreaming, like dreams within dreams and so on. But everything is a form of dream state. But from a Vedic perspective, this is not a bad thing, because the divine is dreaming the world anyway. So the farther down we get into the dream world, the better, the closer we get to reality. So it's not really a matter of waking up, as we call it in modern spirituality, but of dreaming down, to literally get to the bottom of it. So this is all tied to the three bodies or three consciousnesses, three worlds, gross, vital and mental, how Sri Aurobindo calls it. So, but there's a fourth one, the supramental. It's very easy to get lost in the details and intricacies and laws of these three worlds. But we have to press ever on, further on, to get to the supramental, which is the only one that is beyond Maya, beyond the overmind. All this Sri Aurobindo summarizes with the word subliminal. What does subliminal mean? It is something underlying, something below, like a code, yeah? When Neo suddenly in the Matrix sees everything in green symbols, then he sees the underlying code. This is the subliminal. The underlying rules and laws of this dream, of this sleeping, of this illusion. And this subliminal, he says, can be a meeting place of our individual consciousness with the all-encompassing consciousness. And here we are not talking about dreams in a psychological sense. It's not that you can dream a higher reality during your normal dreams. It's different. So our journey goes through this vital world, as Sri Aurobindo calls it. We have to go through that and also make sure that we don't get stuck in it, because it's vast. There are many traps, like cities and beings who offer you power and all kinds of fantastical stuff. like in a fantasy movie. And we have to make sure that we never forget that this is not the highest truth. We just have to traverse through this vital or subtle plane. All those 3 dream stages, they're still dream stages, they're still illusion. But there's a 4th one we can call, or the Vedas call Atman, the one that cannot be divided. There is a reality of oneness manifesting itself in a reality of numberless forms and powers and numberless beings, including us. So there's on the one hand this illusion, which we call ignorance or inconscience, and on the other hand this oneness, which is all inventing, all constructing a super consciousness. And our mind is standing in between. It's only that we usually only use our mind to delve into the ignorance and inconscience. But we can direct our mind into the other direction towards the superconscient. Because our mind actually is only an observer. It's not so much an active tool. It is a creative tool, but not an active tool. It can observe the rules, but unfortunately we don't stop with observing. We then start believing in it. We observe the rules, then believe in it, and then think they're facts. We're a bit like a cell phone or computer or radio or TV. We receive stuff, but then unfortunately we interpret it as being the stuff that we receive. But we're just the receiver. A radio is not the radio program. A TV is not the TV program. A cell phone is not the internet. But they can receive it. So we usually misuse and miscombine, misapply, misplace with our mind. But we don't have to. Our minds always need something to work with. They cannot work with nothing. They need some fodder. And I think this is the main reason why Sri Aurobindo wrote these books like The Life Divine and Savitri and A Synthesis of Yoga and so on. To give our mind some fodder. To be able to imagine something else, not just what we have been taught so far. Also, our mind works with experience, on the basis of experience. So the more different kinds of experiences we have, the better. That's where the vital and mental plane come in. To get different kinds of experiences to base our beliefs and misconceptions upon. On the one hand, our mind is an instrument of ignorance, an instrument of limitation. On the other hand, it is a seeker and discoverer. And as we have found out, there is an original consciousness or power. And it has created an illusion, a Maya, a Lila. So we can stop there and say, okay, that's all there is to it. Some ineffable, evanescent being created some perfect illusion and we're caught in it, and that's it. And we're participating in this cosmic illusion with this imperfect consciousness we call a mind. And with that we're always caught in this game between truth and error, and maybe we stumble upon a higher truth now and then. So there exists a problem, but it consists in the mixture of knowledge and ignorance and our cognition of self and things. And it is the origin of this imperfection that we have to discover. So however much stumbling and imperfect and ignorant we are, there is the possibility to find our own origin. Where does this thinking, this observing, this experiencing start? This inward movement that Indian spirituality is so famous for, not outwards but inward. Where does this all start? Where's the origin? Where's the starting point? And only once we have found this starting point, then we can say, okay, it's an illusion and we can do nothing about it, or it's an illusion but we have an exit door there. Because the real question, according to Sri Aurobindo, is not of the mind or the cosmic dream or the cosmic hallucination, but of the nature of reality. It says in the Vedas, in the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita, all is the divine being. So what is this divine being, and how can we get a glimpse of it? And what is our relation towards it? For everything must be made of the same stuff. If all is everything, and everything is all, everything must be made of the same stuff, even our mind and even all the illusions of Maya. So we're not looking for a higher truth, we're looking for a deeper truth, for the origin. Thank you for liking and subscribing, it helps others to find this channel. Thank you for joining me as a patron, and thank you to all my patrons, and see you soon.